Hi dear readers, this is Simona Rich, and again in this video I'm going to read out some of the quotes that I took notes of the liberated person Nisargadatta Maharaj, and hopefully you will be as inspired to meditate as from the previous video about the same topic. So here are some quotes. Watch your thoughts as you watch the street traffic. People come and go. You register without response. It may not be easy in the beginning, but with some practice you will find that your mind can function on many levels at the same time, and you can be aware of them all. That's again the experience of meditators who watch their minds, that you don't have to be attached to the thought processes. And then there could be that, for example, you're watching, the mind is thinking of some problem, at the same time there are some thoughts and you're watching. So the mind can work on different levels, not on one level. And you understand that when you start meditating. It's only when you have a vested interest in any particular level that your attention gets caught in it and you black out on other levels. So there are different, it's so true, there are different thoughts that come in the mind when you watch the mind, and then you don't have to identify with any of them, but sometimes when you have some kind of desires or fears associated with some thoughts, then you get identified with those thoughts. Even then, the work on the blacked out levels goes on outside the field of consciousness. So even though you may get identified with one thought and you think that's all there is in your existence now, there could be other processes going on in your mind that you're not aware of. Indifferent to pain and pleasure, neither asking nor refusing, give all your attention to the level on which I am is timelessly present. Soon you will realize that peace and happiness are in your very nature, and it's only seeking them through some particular channels that disturbs. Again, if you focus on the self, on how you feel within, and it can help if you ask questions such as, who am I? When you do this long enough, often enough, the feeling of love starts radiating, and it's always there, but you were never aware of it, and it's the peace and love that you start accessing, and this is the true source of love. But people seek for pleasure, for love in the form of pleasure in particular ways and particular channels outside of themselves. And this is what creates unhappiness, because you're getting further from the source of pleasure, from the source of love. You need not stop thinking, just cease being interested. It is disinterestedness that liberates. Don't hold on, that's all. The world is made of rings. The hooks are all yours. Make straight your hooks and nothing can hold you. Stop your routine of acquisitiveness, your habit of looking for results, and the freedom of the universe is yours. So he's telling that if you stop being interested in the world, if there are no hooks of yours that keep hooking onto the rings of the world, so like the desires, the world keeps presenting you with different choices, different things to desire, and if you are detached from them all, then the world cannot hold you hostage, and you then will understand who you really are. When the mind is in its natural state, it reverts to silence spontaneously after every experience, or rather every experience happens against the background of silence. that's what is the experience of Eckhart Tolle after his mental breakdown. Then the mind became quiet, and that's what liberated people say, that their minds are not busy. They deal with the things that come spontaneously. So if any emergency comes, they know exactly what to do. They are not lost in their beliefs. So the action arises that is right. And then once this is dealt with, they revert to silence. How amazing it is. Even this alone should keep us striving to achieve that state of liberation, the quiet mind, because when you meditate, you understand that the mind is so chaotic, so many things are going on, and you just want to rest from that all. And for liberated people, it's just a background of quietness. How amazing is that? Keeping away from all desires and contentment in what comes by itself is a very fruitful state, a precondition to the state of fullness. Don't distrust its apparent sterility and emptiness. Believe me, it's the satisfaction of desires that breeds misery. Freedom from desires is bliss. So he's telling that people who don't have any more desires, those who are happy with the way that things are, soon are going to experience liberation. That's so beautiful. And he says here that although people think that the satisfaction of desires brings happiness, he actually says that the satisfaction of desires breeds misery. Freedom from desires is bliss. And it's so true. When you're happy with yourself, you're happy with who you are, you don't have any more things to run for. And this the running after things creates unhappiness. But if you're just stay within yourself, and you are and when you stay within yourself, when your mind is harmonious, then your circumstances become harmonious. You experience good things, and you're just happy with the way that things are, and you don't no longer feel the need to run for any desire. And this is really happiness. What you need will come to you if you do not ask for what you do not need. Yet only few people reach the state of complete dispassion and detachment. It's a very high state, the very threshold of liberation. What you need will come to you if you don't ask for what you don't need, because people waste their energy for things they think they need, but they don't need them. People have millions of desires. Where is the energy left? They want this and that, and they waste their energy through those desires. But if you're happy with the way that things are, if you're happy with yourself and you don't run after any desires because you don't have them, then when you really need something, then you just think of that, and soon it comes into your life. Because you have all the energy, don't waste your energy. And it's told here that very few people live in this state, and those who do will soon reach liberation. There are always moments when one feels empty and estranged. Such moments are most desirable, for it means the soul has cast its moorings and is sailing for distant places. This is detachment, when the old is over and the new has not yet come. The absolute precedes time. Awareness comes first. A bundle of memories and mental habits attracts attention. Awareness gets focalized, and the person suddenly appears. That's what he says. The person is just bundle of memories, habits, and actually we know, well, some people know, not all, that we are not these bodies. It's like when we go to sleep, the whole different world arises, and we think we are the doers in that one fantasy, and then we wake up into this body. And then sometimes when we go about our day, we get lost in thoughts, and we are totally there. We don't even know that we have bodies. So the awareness attaches to something else and then to something else. So it just attached to this bundle of memories and mental habits. It just the awareness got, how to say, the attention went there, and then the awareness became that. But we are not that. We're just awareness, the background of awareness, interested in something that's going on, and it happens to be this world, and we are in this body. So he explains it so beautifully. Remove the light of awareness, go to sleep or swoon away, and the person disappears. The person flickers. Awareness contains all space and time. The absolute is. When you hold on to nothing, no trouble arises. The relinquishing of the lesser is the gaining of the greater. Give up all and you gain all. Then life becomes what it was meant to be, pure radiation from an inexhaustible source. And when I read these words, I think of the life of Jesus. He wasn't hoarding anything. He didn't even have a place to sleep. Yet he had all the power because he didn't hold on to small things. He had the greatest thing of all. Now, Maharaj talks about this reality. While it lasts, the dream has temporary being. It is your desire to hold on to it that creates the problem. Let go. Stop imagining that dream of yours. When you know that you lack nothing, that all there is you and yours, desire ceases. This is what helped me to overcome my desire to go back to India, because I love India. That's probably the only remaining desire that I sometimes have. Or the sea. I love the ocean. I like to be near it, though I don't swim. So this sentence really helps me, because really we should understand that although we can never be absolutely sure until liberation, but if we understand that everything is in us, that we are not in this world, but this whole world is in us, in our awareness, then it means that the places that we want to be in are in us also. And this provides me at least contentment that part of India is already in me. I don't need to go there. It's already in me. It really provides me happiness to think like that. There is nothing to practice. To know yourself, be yourself. To be yourself, stop imagining yourself to be this or that. Just be. Let your true nature emerge. Do not disturb your mind with seeking all kinds of labels that we are, our occupation, that we live there, that we are from this nationality, limits us and prevents us from knowing our being. Plus, if we fear, if we run from some things and we run after some things, it totally makes us lost in this illusion, in this dream reality, and therefore we can't find ourselves. So if we stop labeling ourselves and just relax into being without any desires and fears, then it becomes easier to understand who we really are. Whenever matter organizes itself into a stable organism, consciousness appears spontaneously. With the destruction of the organism, consciousness disappears. So basically, many people asked Maharaj what happens of the person when he dies or she dies. And he's telling that awareness always exists, but awareness is not the same as consciousness. There is a B here, big one. I hope it won't come to me. Awareness is not the same as consciousness. So when some kind of when matter organizes into structure, consciousness into harmonious structure, consciousness is bound to be born. But we are not that consciousness. We are the awareness, but then we get identified with what's happening in this world, and then we become that. Like when we dream, we identify with the dream and we become that. But we ourselves, that is awareness, do not die. But he says that when the person dissolves, then the consciousness also dissolves. Having realized that I am one with and yet beyond the world, I became free from all desire and fear. So basically here, Maharaj explains how he lives his life, what he experiences after the day of liberation. So that's very interesting. I'll read it out now. The bee is still here. Having realized that I am one with and yet beyond the world, I became free. This is such a big bee. I became free from all desire and fear. I did not reason out that I should be free. I found myself free unexpectedly without the least effort. This freedom from desire and fear has remained with me since then. Another thing I noticed was that I do not need to make an effort. The deed follows the thought without delay and friction. That's also what happens when you meditate, even before reaching enlightenment. You just don't have many thoughts, you don't have desires, and then when things need to be done, they just get done. You don't even think about it, and it's done without any effort. I have also found that thoughts become self-fulfilling. Things would fall in place smoothly and rightly. And that's what sometimes in India people practice silence. They don't talk at all, and they also never lie. This is one practice, and then when you do that, whatever you say, it will come true. So he's telling that even what he thinks, it becomes true. The main change was in the mind. It became motionless and silent, responding quickly, but not perpetuating the response. Spontaneity became a way of life. The real became natural and the natural became real. And above all, infinite affection, love, dark and quiet, radiating in all directions, embracing all, making all interesting and beautiful, significant and auspicious. So also this happens when you meditate and you stay aware of yourself, and then the world looks so magical. So I kind of have gotten the glimpses of what he's talking about, but I'm sure that in his experience it was 1,000 times more so. 1,000 times more so. Suffering is due entirely to clinging or resisting. It is a sign of our unwillingness to move on, to flow with life. And he's here talking not so much about the bodily suffering, but mental suffering. So people just keep returning to the same subjects that hurt them, for example. And then they feel hurt. So that's what he's telling. Suffering is means the unwillingness to move on, to flow with life. As a sane line is free of pain, so is a saintly life. Life. As a sane life is free of pain, so is a saintly life free from suffering. The essence of saintliness is total acceptance of the present moment, harmony with things as they happen. A saint does not want things to be different from what they are. He knows that, considering all factors, they are unavoidable. He is friendly with the inevitable and therefore does not suffer. So that's the end of the quotes that I took down from yesterday and today. I will keep reading the book and making notes, and maybe I will make another video quoting from the paragraphs from the book that really resonated with me. So I hope this was useful. Thank you for watching. Take care.